Good day and welcome to the program Midday Discourse on Global TV Abuja. The program Midday Discourse offers you opportunity to have first-hand information on national issues. We bring to you top politicians, captain of industries, diplomat, clergy, and of course, the economic drivers. Only on Midday Discourse, right here in Nigeria's capital city on Global TV. My name is Agbo Clinton. Let's take a break. When we come back, you meet our guests, and we will be looking at the national issues concerning the development of our dear country, Nigeria. Don't go away. Glad to have you back on the program Midday Discourse right here in Nigeria's capital city, Global Television. Our guest today is a veteran in all fields. I am talking about a man that has seen it all. He's ambassador, retired civil servant, educationist, and award-winning author. He is His Excellency, Dr. Godnose IGALI. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
There has been no dull moment, even post-retirement I've been actively involved, engaged, doing different things. I have my foundations, some of which, like we have the Foundation for Vocational Education Development, of which I'm the founder. We are promoting vocational education, technical education. We help to train a lot of people pro bono, and I do have my own private other work that deal with peace and development. And I'm also doing some academic work. I'm involved intensely in writing, of which you know I'm an award-winning writer. And in the educational sector, I'm very much engaged. I'm Pro-Chancellor of two universities, the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and the Bayelsa Medical University, and council member of one or two other private universities. So I think I'm quite busy with myself, and also a lot of work in the house of God.
Yeah, Doctor.
And then of course I have my little businesses, which I'm also engaged. I sit on a few boards, mostly foundations, charities, and some businesses.
So you mean there is no dull moment?
No, not at all, not at all. I'm quite busy, and I like it that way.
Okay, Doctor, let's look at the country. You have represented the country severally as ambassador, and today you're back home, you're contributing. What would you tend to look at the contribution you have contributed? Do you think we are exactly where we should have been, judging from your experience as a country?
I think a lot of Nigerians are very unfair to ourselves. If you look at it, the past 63 years of independence have been years that we've tried to advance forward. I give people certain examples. I did a study once of the development of the country in terms of physical infrastructure. As at the time we had independence, we did not have the present network of infrastructure that we have. The physical infrastructure, for example, roads, network, hospitals, tertiary education. In fact, we had just the University of three older universities, Ibadan, Bello, and the University of Nigeria, Soka, which came after 1962. But at independence, it was only Ibadan. Then later, we had Lagos coming in, and Benin, and so on. So you can see progressively. Today we are talking of a country with over 200 universities. That's just universities, top list of polytechnics, colleges of education. Are the standards of these institutions the best? It's been up and down. Sometimes we go a bit high. There was a time Nigerian universities attracted the best of people from all over the world. Some regimes come and show interest in the tertiary education sector. Others don't show enough interest. Then we had this series of strikes because of the fact that the academic staff union had to advance the interest of the university system by insisting the standards must be optimum and must be kept high. Sometimes people misunderstand us. They don't only fight for themselves, but they fight for the integrity of the system. So, are we where we should be as a country? And if you look at diplomacy, like my own area, as you know, I'm the first vice president of the Academy of International Affairs. And we deal with a lot of diplomatic issues. And when you look at the background, trajectory of our diplomacy, we have done very well. Nigeria has been one of the main countries, international visibility, international notice. We've been able to show the fact that we are a regional leader, not just because of our population, but because we have also the human resource, the natural resources to advance diplomatic impacts at the global level. And so we are not as irrelevant as many people want to believe that we are. I can understand the high level of frustration, the visitation of poverty that's around, but we are still, to some extent, the biggest economy on the African continent. And so the diplomacy has been impactful on the African continent. We were not even, if not for Nigeria, maybe Africa wouldn't have been totally liberated by now. When late Murtala gave that speech, Africa has come of age. In early 1976, George Bush was killed. It sent a message to all of Africa. And at that time, we became counted as a frontline nation without being on the front line. Frontline nations were Tanzania, Zambia, countries around the periphery of the countries which were trying to liberate at the time in Southern Africa. And Nigeria was counted as a frontline state because of the integrity and the forthrightness of our diplomacy. We were the country behind the formation of ECOWAS, the sub-regional body. We played a major role in bringing peace to Liberia and to Sierra Leone through the ECOMOG, which became a model for regional approach to conflict resolution. The United Nations adopted it. That when conflicts arise, we don't have to invoke Article 51. We don't need to go to Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. We can actually rely on the regional bodies, which it provides for, being the first line of acting to make peace. And we didn't receive support from the world. Many countries are taking credit, but Liberia and Sierra Leone, the peace came largely from Nigeria. And at other times, different presidents of Nigeria played their role. When we had situation in Niger, situation in Chad, we played a major role in Sao Tome and Principe, and Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria played a major role. Even you can see the role we are playing in Niger, trying to restore peace back to Niger. So, and many Nigerians have served in international organizations. Today we have a Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. We have the Director General of the World Trade Organization. And before them, others have held similar positions. So I think Nigeria, in different areas, we've tried. And don't forget that this country went through a major civil war, and we have still remained warned. We went through so many military coups, some very bloody, but remained warned. We can do better. And so I am an optimist, and in the debates that I hold almost all the time, some people say, Ambassador, just keep quiet. we're a failed state. Some people even use the word failed state. We have a lot of problems, yes, because some regimes come and don't perform as well as others. We need to set certain irreducible standards in this country. We need to fight the monster that is called corruption. We need to fight the monster that is called big government. Public spending has to be tailored to be pro-poor. We have to look at poor people, and be able to deal with poverty. People are poor, so we have to deal with those issues. Ethnicity remains a bit of concern, but it will take time. The generations have to come and go. That is my belief. There was a time when a lot of children that are born here in Abuja, who don't even know their villages. We are beginning to have a new generation of Nigerians who are very pan-Nigerian, who see themselves as Nigerians. That primordial belief that I am this ethnic group or that ethnic group, it exists to some extent, but we are gradually producing that new generation of Nigerians who see themselves as Nigerians. And so you see that there's a greater occurrence of inter-ethnic marriages. In fact, almost every weekend I have a marriage to either chair or to attend, and I see that the couple are from different parts of the country and they're happy with each other. This was not before. Before, in the time of our parents, normally a wife is found in your village and brought to you. In our own times, we are reminded to go and marry from your own ethnic group. You are reminded all the time, you have to go and marry from home. But those things don't happen again. So I think we're advancing. Nation building is not a static process. It's a process that is quite elastic. It takes time to settle down, to simmer, to settle down. And I think Nigerians have to show some level of appreciation of the fact that we are a strong nation. We are very resilient. When we look at it, we are going to get to the breaking point, we get out of it. Some people saw 2015 as an Armageddon. There was even a prediction that Nigeria will collapse. Prediction from one of the leading intelligence houses in the country, in the world, that Nigeria will break in 2015. And then we had God intervene, and President Jonathan made that historic phone call way before they finished counting and said, I bow, let the country move forward, country comes first. We had during the Abiola incident, we thought that the country would break down. We went through 2023 election was seen as Armageddon. People said, 2023, we're going to fight, we're going to kill people on the street, we could die each other. And then the election took place. Not everybody was happy with the outcome of the election. People did not. I belong to a few groups, and I was telling them, we need to commend all the leading political actors for participating the way they did and for showing confidence in the constitutionalism. What did they do? They went to court. They didn't say, all my supporters come out and start killing people. They said, no, we are going to court. They exercised that right, went to court, and patiently went through the process, for which they all deserve to be commended, their confidence in the institutions of the state. We have to build the institutions. We have to test the institutions. We have to test the institutions. Nations are built by institutions. You have to test the institutions. And they tested the institutions, and the outcome, the results came, and they didn't favor everybody. And I think gradually we are moving on as a country. So, what is my conclusive word on where we are as a country? I think we are moving forward, and we should all have hope in this country.
Yeah, Doctor, in your presentation you talked about good luck making a court. Do you think we have some good luck today? People who can totally submissive to democracy, people who can...
Well, there's a new trend that I will bear my mind. There's a new trend that I feel very uncomfortable with. Today, if you go to contest an election, there's a lot of desperation by people who aspire for political office. And I think we need to wind down that desperation. I wrote an article, if you read some of what I wrote, I said the Jonathan anecdote 2023 election. A lot of my friends, but fortunately it came out 2 weeks before the result of the elections. What did I say? I said elections are 4 years cycle. 4 years just pass like an evening gone. 4 years. So I predicted that, look, this election, of course, only one person can emerge. And whenever the results come out, let us accept the results and take constitutional steps towards redress. Now, but what is happening in the country is that no matter how you go into a competitive race, everybody, INEC chairman lamented that he had about 1,400 court cases at the time. A lot of them pre-election issues. And some are even frivolous because they bring pre-election issues which are time back to be brought forward just to test the courts and waste the time of the courts. So I think that we should not be too desperate, despondent about winning. First is to participate and be happy that you participated. I participated at a time to be governor of my state twice, and I was not favored. I was not too happy, but I have to move on. I can't be stuck down. I participated to be a senator once. In fact, with the endorsement of former president, I was not in his party. He said, ask them to call, take my ticket on my party and contest. And I said, oh, everybody said, look who it is. The president tells you, go and get yourself registered and take it. But still, when it was time, I was not even given a chance to properly contest. And somebody was just declared and said, this is the person we want. Somebody who was in a position to do that. And what did I do? I moved on with my life. I don't have to be stuck there, going from one court to another court. I moved on. You can see my office. I have a standard office in the center of Abuja. I'm living my life, I'm doing things, still impacting the country. So there are always things to do, but I think a lot of people now see politics as a meal ticket. I'm not saying all people. So you go to a local government election, one person emerges as local government chairman. All those who lose, every single person goes to court. You go to ask for assembly until they get to where the Electoral Act says that they can stop, maybe Court of Appeal, in some cases, Supreme Court. I mean, every single senator who contested this last election, maybe few, very few, have court cases. The same thing for House of Reps. Does not happen anywhere in the world. So, I know that some of those, the electoral umpires, some of the security agencies, and some of the people who are the guardsmen, who should be the umpires, don't do some things right, and people should call them to do the things right. But at the same time, there's a lot of frivolity. You take pre-election issues and bring them after the election, when you know, and the lawyers, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so, and that the legal profession is one of the most respected professions in the world, so I will not want to say things against that profession. But some, even not when you do the basic rudimentary administrative law and my master's degree in international law, I can see that certain processes don't make sense, even maybe to a first year law student. But then the cases are in court. And so when you say, are there people like Jonathan? Well, Jonathan, with his issue of his personal belief, when we were in Bayelsa State, he was governor and I was secretary to government. Our slogan, which is his own slogan, and don't ever be deceived that anybody says, I developed it. One day he woke me up, he said, look, he was writing and writing in his office. He said, look, do you know that this election is not a do or die? There was a candidate who was ready to do anything to get to it. He said, if I don't win, I'll just go. He was governor. And that my election, my ambition should not take the blood of anybody in this state. And elections in Bayelsa were like wild west. They were quite bloody. We've had elections where a lot of people died. For nothing. For 4 years position. So he said, I'm not going to let one drop of blood. And then the billboards were all over the place. my governorship ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. He cascaded it up when he became president of this country. And so people were not surprised. So I heard somebody one day said, President Jonathan, we have to tell him. It's a lie. President Jonathan took that decision by himself. He sent for me. I was there. He was in his study in the villa. He said, I've called Buhari already. I've called the general. He decided by himself that no.
Were you shocked when he told you
yes,
he was going to do this?
I was shocked. I was shocked. Because he was president and he had all the power. And outside his office, there were people writing speeches. I should go and join them. I didn't have, I just left the place. I've not given this interview, but I just left. I was days. He sent me to go and tell somebody. So go and tell him this is what I've done to soon be in the news. And he was there in his office and he was busy writing some things and, So I saw some of the ministers, they were busy looking at some drafts. That was the speech he was going to make and he had written. So it was his decision. That is his own approach to life. And I think many of us have to learn from it. Today, the man is busy, very busy. He's sadly in the country, he's wanted all over the world. So the point I'm trying to make is that you came here this morning, you said, Ambassador, you've left formal work and you are still so busy. Yes, there are so many things to do. So I came in from Bayelsa yesterday and I'm going back tomorrow. You do the things. In fact, the people at the airport are so used to me. Because every week I'm either going to Lagos or I'm coming to Abuja. So we keep ourselves busy with other things. And President Jonathan is engaged very much around the world. And I think more of us who have the opportunity to lead people should look at these things. That life is not about winning an election and being called honorable or being called senator. You can still do so many other things with your life. If you lose an election, sometimes let things go. Because some of this is why a lot of people going to court cases are losing. They spend a lot of money. You go through an election, spend money in the election, and after that you now have to tax yourself to go to court. And sometimes some of the bases are make no sense because the issues of ground. Sometimes even without a locus, they go to court and the judges will just throw the case and you spend money to pay lawyers, spend money buying tickets from maybe from Sokoto to Abuja, from Maiduguri to Abuja, from Calabar here, trying to come to court and so on. And I think there are a lot of Jonathans in Nigeria. Not so many people are desperate.
If you are just joining us, the program is Midday Discourse on Global TV, coming away from Nigeria's capital city. And our guest today is the former ambassador to Spain, Sweden, and former permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Power. I'm talking about the politician, a clergyman, an award-winning author, Dr. IGALI is with us on the studio this afternoon, and we are looking at national issues concerning the development of our dear country, Nigeria. Please don't go away.
Yeah, a few people in the political class maybe need to learn. I'll send you that article when I say election 2023 and the Jonathan anecdote. And let's follow that path. 4 years just passes. And you try it again. Without bias to those who go to court. Without bias to those who feel that no. Certain things didn't go right. And even for the sake of the jurisprudence, establishing the rules of the game properly. Like the Supreme Court has, in this last judgment, laid down, many of us don't agree, or some of us don't agree with everything they said. But they've also laid down some clear things which have gone into the body of law of the country. So for those who went to court genuinely, it is okay because every court case, particularly at the appellate level, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, lays down jurisprudence. But certain cases are just simply frivolous. And we don't need to take all that. And I don't know. Some people have advocated for electoral tribunal courts. not the normal, because the duties of the normal courts are now kind of withheld to trash out of all this. The Electoral Act has now specified the number of days, so it's helpful, but it is also a distraction to the delivery of justice. And justice delayed, they say justice denied for other cases. But I think that we need to have a rethink. And it's not only me, there are so many other people that did not do this going to court. I remember my friend Patutomi, the primary that produced one of the former governors of Delta State. They were to have the primary at a place called Ole Stadium. And they all went in the morning to sit down with their supporters, beating drum, waiting for the people to come and conduct the election. After some time, they were hearing on the radio that the primary has taken place at Ogwashuku. Yeah, and he could have gone to court and taken all the sounds in Lagos, but he simply walked away and continued with his life. And many of us have seen that kind of thing. I told you I contested Senate. President Buhari, if you Google Buhari endorses IGALI, you see it. He said, come into my party, take the ticket and contest. And I obeyed dutifully. And after doing all the needful, one day somebody walks in and said, Ambassador, leave it. Give this man. Really? And the next day, a person announces that primaries are held peacefully, and this person scores so, that person scores so. But I can't lose any sleep about it.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
You've been very close. I could remember that you also had such message in the days of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, yes. And you also have one with the immediate past president. How disappointed were you when you were endorsed by the president and you went to the poll? You were not even allowed to participate effectively.
Well, I was shocked, because it was like a joke. I mean, president endorses me didn't mean that I had it automatically, because I had to work hard. Unfortunately, I had several months to work hard, and I did. I reached out, and everybody was excited, to the best of my knowledge. And a lot of good candidates in Nigeria do not even have the opportunity to cross the hurdle of the primaries, and that's very bad for our democracy, because you are shut down. I just gave the example of my friend Professor Patuto, and a lot of us have that experience. So at the level of the primary, two things happen. Some people come with a lot of money to buy over delegates. We have to think through this system of delegates, because there's a lot of hunger in the land. So a strong man, two things: some buy over delegates. So delegates, to become delegates is a big deal. To be delegates, you get somebody from the village whose income per month is maybe about 30,000, 40,000 naira a month. That's his highest income. He's a farmer, he's a teacher or whatever, playing politics by the side. Then he comes, and there are about 10 candidates, and every candidate is offering maybe about 100,000, and then some candidates are offering about 1 million or 2 million per delegate. So to be a delegate is a do or die. That's the first hurdle. They get to become delegates. There are the statutory delegates, local government chairman, party executives at different levels, elected officials. So the candidates sometimes becomes the highest bidder. And some other cases is the strong man. There's a strong man syndrome. So in the state, there's an outgoing governor. I heard a governor recently, somebody at the federal level say, I have a structure. My structure should be kept, and I have to make sure everybody keep my structure. Really? You have finished your tenure, you are having a top position at the center, you are still talking about the structure. For what? You see, these are the things that are wrong in the democracy. So you talk about structure, so the governor who is going out say, look, this is my structure. Nobody should tamper. I've finished my tenure of 8 years as a governor, but I have a structure that you all have to keep. So you are going to be the member of Senate, go to Senate, you go to House of Reps. Well, The governor is a strong man. It's in Latin, they call it caudillo. Caudillo says strong man syndrome. A man like a sit-back gorilla who beats his chest and says there's no other hero, I'm here. And then he puts all the people. So what happens is that by the time any governor is going out, the entire House of Assembly are people he has picked. Those who are following him and say, your boys are loyal. He puts them in the assembly, his successor watches him, he picks his successor. No matter how qualified you are, you can be the most prolific, erudite lawyer, professor. He doesn't bloody care. What is of interest to him is, will this man be loyal to me after I go? So the interest, the national interest, state interest of the state become defined as interest of the outgoing person. And when that becomes how politics is defined, is dangerous. Because you must think of the interest of the people. There are 10 candidates. Of these 10 candidates, who can be able to come and deliver on infrastructure development? Who can be able to come and make sure that the soft infrastructure, that is building human beings, healthcare, education, water supply, these things are provided. Who among all these candidates can be able to think out of the box and bring money, deal with development partners, come up with PPP options to develop the state? So, but then these are not the things people consider. I agree that loyalty is very important in politics. But when loyalty is taken without even giving opportunity to examine, because any person, most people you put, if you have an altruistic attitude, will be loyal to you, will be loyal to the causes that you are living behind. So two things happen. Money. So when the governor takes that position, any of the other candidates will go and look for money. I've seen it happen in my own, when I tried to be governor. I saw that I didn't have the money people had. Did I give money to delegates? Oh yes, I did. I confess I did. Because they told me that I don't have transport to come. I didn't. Okay, this is for your transport, take it. So I gave people money for transport. I said, but I don't have money to pay you for your this thing. You came from a village, you need transport. Okay, take it for transport. But delegates were being given the kind of songs that Justice V.A. Whiskey of blessed memory said, if he sees 1 million naira, he'll collapse in his life. But delegates were getting very fat sums. And some swindlers came in because delegate from the village has not seen anything called dollar. When the dollars came, agents to go and change that dollar became available. In a small place like Bayelsa, they exhausted all the money changers. They had to go to Port Harcourt to change the money. Changing it at that time at 300 and something, 320. Yeah, the agent will tell you, it's 250. The village man said, okay, he has not even seen that kind of money before. What am I saying? At the party primary level, these are the things that happen. The influence of that going man, the influence of money. And it does not give a lot of good people. And then the young people are completely, it's the young people who are sponsored by the outgoing people that get the chance. A good, bright young man who is a first-class brain and means well, come up with ideas, has no chance because he does not have money, he does not have the chance even to go close to the governor. And he manages to put himself there. And even the cost of buying form, right now, the average cost of buying form to be a governor is about, I think, 25 million when we contested. 25 million naira. It's always, there are people that, in fact, I gave up. Then somebody came and said, the person said, if you want to be governor, he will pay. I said, how? He doesn't know me well. I said, no, but who doesn't know you? He said that people like you, really? It's not even from my state. He bought the form and I was going to say, no, don't worry. Go and try your luck. But then, to be president, the last election, I think it was 100 million. I think my last election to governorship was 40 million. People pay. It's like not 100 million to be presidential candidates, see how many people were just buying. So those are things that I think, in that case, how will a young person who is full of ideas go and contest?
So, Doctor, if we look at merit in politics, merit is quite distant, and money politics is dictated in Nigerian context.
Don't get me right. It is not to say that there are people who are in politics who don't merit it. There are a lot of bright people who are governors with ideas. There are a lot of bright people who are in the National Assembly and in other elected positions. But there are a larger number of very bright people who are outside, who are excluded, or who are so much intimidated that they can't even dare to come up. They'll say, do I have the money? I will not bother myself.
Okay, Doctor, you were once an advisor.
You see, this is not the same thing as in many other countries.
Yeah.
I was in Finland. The president of Finland was a 33-year prime minister. Was a 33-year-old young lady. I can call her a young lady. When I was ambassador, she was a member of parliament heading a small political party. And that's one thing we have to rethink in Nigeria's politics. Then she now aligned with 4 other heads of small political parties, and they came together. They said, okay, let us go in this thing, and if we win, you are 34, the 2 of them were 35, the oldest was 36, all women, all female. And that's how they became Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Minister of Education, Minister of Environment, and all of that. So but the system we operate is a system of the winner takes it all. But we also have to learn to build alliances. And when we had this presidential election, I met 2 of the candidates. I said, well, come. Why must each of you contest this election? Why can't you people, even the younger people in the other political parties, everybody wants to be a candidate. But you can work with other people. And when they win, you become part of government. You form government together. And you come up with a coalition. Say, no, we're working together. We're working together. All candidates vote for this man in your state, vote for that man in your state. But we don't want to hear that. We want to go lose, and it's on record that you lost. There needs to be a lot of thinking, critical thinking for us all too.
Doctor, you played a major role for the youths of South as an advisor to the then president, and you will be exercising your civil right on the 11th of November. Bayelsa youth look up to you. What message will you pass to the youth as they get set for the elections?
Elections are an opportunity, number one, to set a course, a roadmap for the future. Because you elect somebody, that single exercise of franchise, of the right to vote, is like deciding on what happens to you tomorrow. So when people, like I said, I was home for the past 1 week. I just came back yesterday. And there were a lot of groups that came to see me. And when they see me, they say, what do we do? I said, listen, you look at, fortunately for us in Bayelsa, we have 2 candidates, both of whom have been governor. Chief Priscilla was governor for 5 years. The present governor is governor for 3.5 years, going to 4 years. So you can benchmark and say, okay, in 5 years, this is what this man achieved. In 3.5 years, this is what this man has achieved. And because when they come in, they will decide your fate in everything. So I tell the people of Bayelsa State that, okay, it's not a case where one of them was never a governor. These are 2 of them have been governors. So it's easy for you to judge. Look at infrastructural development. social development, human capacity development. Look at all those things. Look at the reign of an atmosphere that is friendly to investment, including peace, which is a precursor to almost everything. So you have you benchmark them, and then you go and vote according to your conscience. That's what I tell people, and that will be my advice to the youth, and the youth also to realize that it is not worth putting your lives on the line for anybody, because the line between life and death is a very thin line. And maybe this, I don't know whether this you are playing this in Bayelsa or here in Abuja, but even at national level, you put yourself on the line because somebody gives you maybe 20,000 naira to go and cause violence, go and carry ballot box, go and destroy INEC, disrupt the process, and then there is a fight erupts, you get permanently injured, you get, and some even die. Look at what is happening in a place called Nimbi in Bayelsa. People, I was there on Friday, on Thursday, breaking Friday, a young man was killed, and there has been violence there for the past 2 months. People who are the same community stand up on each other because of politicians who will come and go, who will win election, and you cannot even go near their convoy. So there must be a rethink on the part of young people. Because these politicians do not bring out their children to go and disrupt the election. Some of them, their children will not even go to be in Bayelsa during this election. So they will be here in Abuja or in some other places. You go and put your life on the line. After 4 years, some of them you even elect the person, then after 2 months, 3 months, the court removes the person. The last election in Bayelsa State in 2019, somebody won, David Lion won. I was in the stadium inspecting guard of honor. About this time of the day, he was inspecting guard of honor. The police were teaching him where to stand and so on. Everything was set. The whole town was full of banners, and a lot of cows had been slaughtered. Hotels were full with all manner of visitors. And a court pronouncement. And Governor Doediri, Senator Doediri, the Supreme Court said, this is the man. So all those preparations and everything and all the supporters, it was over. So when you now put your life on the line for this person that, not even everybody who goes to die or goes to get injured, goes to disrupt elections, get remembered. Sometimes nobody even remembers that you did that. So my advice to the young people is do the right thing. The right thing is go and vote quietly and go back to your house. Don't listen to any person who says, come out, don't accept it. You say, okay, thank you, sir, I'm coming. You stay in your house. Don't come out and do anything that is, you are not the police, you are not INEC. INEC will do their job, the police will do their job. And by the end of the day, after 4 years, it will all be over. So I think that is the right thing to do. And that's why, will there be peaceful elections? Yes, I think that there will be peaceful elections. On Wednesday, they will be signing the peace agreement, the main candidates. And I think many of us have been preaching for peace. And I think peace will prevail. There's general criminality in the society. So we should all be careful about that general criminality. Take security tips to protect ourselves. Beyond that, we should be able to live like any other people. And I think a life that is caged is not the best of life. And I remember when I was Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Power, they were taking transformer to my street, and they insisted that the transformer should be inside my compound. And I sent for them. I said, why? He said, no, Oga, the transformer should be inside your compound. Why? The transformer is for the street, so why should it be inside my compound? I said, okay, you have to protect it. And the transformer is in front of my house at the corner, but for the whole street. And nobody has, the people in the street contribute money. They put, barricaded it by themselves and protect the transformer. So I did not, when I see a lot of big men, transformer is inside your compound. Why is there a transformer inside your compound? And there were 1 or 2 cases where there was accident and it turned out negative. So I think that, for example, there are some places I'll go to, like I was in Lokoja 2 weeks ago for the convocation of the Federal University of Lokoja. I was traveling by road. Yes, I had to ask for police to sit in my car with me and accompany me, because I know I was going on a long distance and it's a risk-prone area. So, but for me to move around the town, so I think we have to redefine some of these things. The life must go on. So I think a lot of us have to learn some of these virtues.
Finally, Doctor, were there some sad moments in your career as a civil servant?
Of course. There must be sad moments. Everybody has had his own. You see, life is not an ascending slope like this permanently. In life, and I heard this from President Obasanjo too at the time, life is going up and then undulating, comes down sometimes, goes up, undulates, sometimes it comes even right to the peak, to the bottom, I mean. And after that, with determination and courage, you rise again. So some people have the mentality that life must be a gradual ascending kind of ascent. No, it must undulate. So we have to take, those low points are points of internal introspection, and you reflect on the journey past and see how to go forward and have the determination to continue. So there have been several moments at certain times, moments of disappointment, but when your faith is in God and you know you've done your best, you keep trudging on. That's what I can say.
Okay, the peak in your career, especially when serving and living at the right time without normal queries, civil servants, and so harassment and so on. Can you say that was a peak of the day?
Well, no, you must have, for example, we left office and a new government, we retired when the new government was settling down, and people must look into what you've done, and what is important is not to bother, because you look into it, nothing is found on you. And that's the joy that one has, that nothing is found against one. And the peak, I don't know if one has reached the peak. I'm still active, so I wouldn't say that there's a peak, but I can say that with every undulation, one rises up, gets stronger.
And that's the size of today's edition of the program, Midday Discourse on Global Television from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Our guest this afternoon has been Dr. IGALI Godnews, a former ambassador, a former permanent secretary of Ministry of Power and Water Resources, a politician, a clergyman. Doctor, we want to say a big thank you for finding time to be with us on the program. And that's how far we can go. We truly believe you had a wonderful time on with us. Join us same time, same station for another interesting edition of the program, Midday Discourse. Until we meet again, my name is Agbo Clinton, and special thanks to my producer, Mr. Uwe. Have a wonderful day ahead of you.